Hey, what's up, pro wrestling fans? Welcome to the Nation's Corner. I am Front Row, back from assignment in Texas at Mission Pro Wrestling's True Colors. With me tonight is John in South Jersey and Mongrovian Mike. What's up, people?
What's up, Front Row?
What up?
Nice to see you back from beautiful Tejas.
It was hot.
Successful. Yeah,
It was really hot. It was
it's
107 when we left, I think.
that's really hot. That's really hot. But
You know it's
fantastic
hot.
show.
You know it's hot when it's 30 degrees cooler here at my house in Charlotte, and it's actually still warm. Like it's not cool
Yeah.
out. So, Mrs.
That's
Front
hot.
Row and I were glad to be back into the moderate weather, so we weren't frying. But yeah, thanks. We had a blast. It was a really fun show. Everybody that was on the show over delivered as always. I know we Emily and Veda and I covered a lot of this stuff on Tuesday on a mission. Go back and check it out if you want to see a match by match breakdown. But I'll just share a couple of quick stories with you guys with some family slideshow. We did have a really good time in Texas. It's always great to get together with all of our friends and just basically work hard, play hard, the whole deal, right? But it was Pride Month, or it is Pride Month, but our show was wrapping Pride Month pretty hard, as you can see by this picture. Lots of color. And that's our family photo. We take this photo, the four of us, everywhere we go together. We have a whole series of them from all over the country. So before we go dive into all the mainstream stuff, I just wanted to get your sort of feedback on like what were a couple of moments that you really enjoyed from Two Colors. John, we'll start with you.
Well, first and foremost, the debut of Black Swan, and one word, wow. Very impressed by her overall in ring, her entrance, her presence in her entrance to the ring. Wow. For someone so young and new to the wrestling, sure didn't look like it, and certainly didn't perform like it. She is definitely one of the ones that really caught my eye and attention at the show.
Yeah, definitely, Mike.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna piggyback on that one. Yeah, definitely, Black Swan was definitely a highlight, and JP tapped out. We all saw it. He tapped. He tapped.
Yeah.
And that's all I gotta say about that. Genocide was victorious, as I said she would be.
And
so,
still,
Jasmine Allure cannot allure that belt around her waist. That's for sure.
not at all.
Well,
Tiffany and versus the Camacho Madness. You know what? You know how we always say when you, even in law, someone goes over, someone gets over, and I think that's how it goes, because Tiffany's on her way. She's a boss, and we all know. I was rooting for her, but Camacho Madness is undeniable. Hey, no.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, we saw at the beginning of that match, I think we talked about this a little bit on a mission, but at the beginning of that match, Tiffany Nieves came in with a plan and a purpose, and she was very focused. I've got a picture of her. This was before she hadn't even started the match yet, and she was
talk about a game face.
Yeah.
Man, so who peed in her freaking cornflakes that morning, man?
I don't know, but she took it out on Emmy. That's for sure.
Yeah. Poor Emmy. But you know what? Emmy is maybe down the line. Hey, we could see the Mega Powers team up. That'd be cool. Since I'm a fan of both of theirs, maybe we could see the. Oh yeah. Because nobody can deny that the Emmy era too. So
okay, but
that's the exciting thing about Mission Pro, bro. That's why we love it. It's not, it's not just. Of course, we're friends with people that the promotion itself is so good, and and it's just so much fun, and Brian puts on banger after banger, and you just got to give him his props. And you guys did a great job. Everybody does a great job, and we all know we've heard it before. You get there and it's just meeting a bunch of very happy people to be where they are, and there's very few dissatisfied people, and anybody that's dissatisfied is usually finds their way to the door.
Yeah, not a lot of unhappy people. In fact,
No,
none that I
not
saw.
very. Yeah, very few.
So it was a hot crowd as always. We and we did have air conditioning, but I mean hot as in energetic, not as in overloaded. But
the star of the show though. Wait, I'm sorry, that little girl.
Okay,
there you go. Yeah. Sorry about
this.
that.
I mean this little girl.
That little girl.
Both little girls.
Yeah.
Izzy's always going to be that little girl to me.
I know. It is hard, although she is 16 and she is she's training MMA and CrossFit and pro wrestling. She's in working with her coaches at Hybrid School of Wrestling all summer. And she did, after Jasmine did attack her at the end of that match, she said, I've waited 8 long years for this, but Jasmine Allure, I challenge you to a match at Boiling Point, August 12th. So that match has been made official by Mission Pro Management. So we are going to see Izzy Moreno face Jasmine Allure on August 12th.
Right on, kid. Show no fear. Jump right in.
And if you haven't seen yet, go to Izzy's Twitter or go to our social media. You'll see us repost her video that she posted a day or two ago. It's a pretty good summary of her journey and where she's headed. So we're all super proud of her. It was it was great to spend some time with her and her family this weekend. I was not happy to see Jasmine knock her down because we didn't bring Izzy in as an in-ring competitor. We brought her in as a commentary where she was debuting on commentary. So all of that really threw everything into the mix. So, but we'll adjust. We'll adjust. Yes, Mrs. Front. The little girl's name was Aiden. And she was awesome. I told this story the other night, but my goodness, I went over.
She was Aiden Izzy. Hey!
All right, I'm stealing that.
It's all yours, buddy.
Thanks.
I just want to thank. There was one of the higher ups at Mission Pro. Sent me this. It's signed by everybody.
Wow, who you know?
I don't know.
Did my wife send you that? She does merch.
She's a very nice lady. What's her name? I gotta ask somebody what her name is.
I don't know. Ask Jeremiah.
It's MFR to me, but am I on the Black Swan right now?
Yes.
No. Yes, there you go.
Yes.
There you go.
You are. Yep.
Can we see her autograph? How cool it is.
It looks like a swan.
S is a little swan.
Yes, the S looks like a swan.
I
Girl's got style.
And everybody has signed that. Get in touch with me on Discord if you want to help us sponsor Mission Pro. You know where to find me. Help the Nation's Corner bring a great product out there on the Title Match Network. And
yeah, man, I can't. We at Mission Pro are super proud and thankful of Nation's Corner and all the sponsors that have helped us throughout the years. But Nation's Corner has been a day one sponsor. Our group started that originally, and you've carried on that all that work too. Yeah, so so thank you, and it's cool. It's a partnership, right? So
yes, it is.
Okay.
I was saying, if you want to help me on that, people could be in the running. I'll mail that. I can send that to somebody, some lucky person who wants to get in touch with me.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Contact Mongrovian Mike if you would like to help contribute and be in the running for that.
I'll text you right now. I want.
And of course, because we're a show, feel free if you want to get in touch with Mission Pro and sponsor individual matches or anybody who's working there, any of the talent, any of the refs. If you want to send a couple of Cuban cigars to Front Row, whatever. Everything helps.
Yeah, every little bit helps.
Yeah, if you're interested in sponsoring any of the wrestlers or the show, there's a lot of sponsorship opportunities available. Contact us at missionprowrestling@gmail.com or go to missionprowrestling.com for all details and for tickets for the upcoming show as well. I do have to give Sam in Cleveland. Look, I love Sam. Sam's a good friend. But how can you choose Jasmine over Izzy?
Boo. Boo that man. Boo him.
That's like
You get
Mark's
booed,
level
Sam.
heat.
Boo. Thumbs down.
Not cool, Sam. Speaking of Sam,
Ted got him in the group. Ted got him in the group.
I am
Trying to
today.
get
I'm
that heel
repping
heat.
this. Repping not Sam. Sam Roberts did send me this cool new shirt. I like it because it's tropical, and I'm like a tropical cruise kind of person, so it sort of feels like cruise wear. So shout out to Sam. Check out Not Sam Wrestling. All the platforms. He has some really cool interviews coming up.
We're like an infomercial.
Yeah, right. Let's get to the actual wrestling.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
so-
wrestling. Oh yeah.
So tonight is the debut of AEW Collision, and they actually did a really good job of setting up a lot of stuff for this show. There were a lot of big names in the sizzle reels, and the look and the feel of what we've seen from a media perspective, it feels new and fresh. So I'm hoping that it has a different vibe to it. I don't know what it's going to look like yet, although Tony Khan did say on Busted Open that they're sharing rosters, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the show is not going to have its own feel. So I'm kind of excited, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Mike, let's start with you.
Yeah, they are putting, but they're saying it's going to be other talent there, but of course they have to show talent that we see on Dynamite and Rampage and so forth, but they are promoting other people that we haven't seen in a while, like Andrade Idolo, and Thunder Rosa, and Miro, and you know, I think there's a few more people that we haven't seen in a while that we're going to see, and sounds like fun to me. I'm in for it.
You know who we're going to see a Collision is our good friend Ezra, who was there on site. He just sent us some texts and stuff. He's in the room.
Nation's Corner on location.
There it is. And also Debhausen and Seth are on location at another independent show. I think Deb and Seth were wearing their Mission Pro Pride shirts. Which is really cool. So sweet. We appreciate the support for that too.
And also a little later on, out on the West Coast, which they say is the best coast, and I do not agree with that. Your co-host on Thursday's Front Row, one Miss Trenda Magellan, is going to be live at GCW.
Don't even start.
Magellan, yes. But
she is the best host from the West Coast. That is her moniker.
That's about the best thing about the West Coast.
You get her yelling, so you get Trenda yelling at you.
Oh, did you hear on the pay-per-view? She definitely Mrs. Front Row and Trenda and Neil started so many chants at the show. Go back and watch it on Title Match Network.
Cowboy.
Well,
it
was good.
At that show, sorry.
No, he was actually not at the women's wrestling show. Oddly enough. But it is interesting. Like tonight, we're going to see the return of CM Punk, and there's been so much speculation. The dirt sheets, the reports, the interviews, people are doing podcasts speculating what's going to happen. All we know is he's going to be on with a live mic tonight, and people are going to tune in for it because people want to know what he's going to say, just like the Howard Stern vibe, right? Like, people, whether they like him or not, they want to know what he's going to say. So we'll be watching. And I know that they've advertised. Let's see, John, if you want to pull up that graphic, I know you loaded a graphic for us of the matches that we're going to see tonight, or at least the ones that have been advertised.
And just for the record, I don't want to see him fall on his face. I'm one of the critics that are on the other side with CM Punk because I wasn't through the CM Punk era. That was the PG era to me. So
there we go.
But I want him to do good tonight, and I want to hear what he has to say. This is going to be good.
Yeah.
So
you look at it, it's I mean the main event, I guess they're calling it that 6-man match. CM Punk, who again has been touted highly, will have a live mic, but also to erase any doubts or anything, is also wrestling. He's tagging up with FTR, and they're taking on Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Samoa Joe. So I guess in the overall scheme of things, mission accomplished. They're bringing back CM Punk. They're gonna give him time with a microphone, and we're going to see him wrestle because we know, especially outside of all the other extracurricular things, he was and had been dealing with injuries since his return to AEW. And now, we'll see where he's at physically as well as mentally.
Yeah, and I agree with Neil here. Happy to see CM Punk back. I've heard a lot of good things about him as a coach and as a supportive backstage person, especially when it comes to the women's roster. I've heard from a lot. We've heard interviews with a lot of the different women who work there. Said he's very collaborative and very helpful, which is terrific. It's a good vibe, good person to have in your locker room. And I just want to go back to, so that Queen Uju was on the show as well, and Mrs. Front Row did come up with the Buju chant. So hopefully that sticks. Yeah, so this is going to be an interesting night. Not everybody that was in the sizzle reel will probably be on the show. I don't know if anything's been said yet about Thunder Rosa returning to the ring. I've not seen any updates to her medical condition, anything publicly. So I don't know if she's going to be on the show or not, but we do know that a lot of the other names that were in that sizzle reel or in that.
I'm ready. Shut up. Let me talk.
But
that's a terrible Thunder, by the way.
Absolutely horrible.
She's much angrier in person.
By design.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask you guys, because we saw last night on Rampage, there was a pretty good match, the women's match last night with Taya Valkyrie and Trish Adora. And I'm a big fan of Trish Adora. My wife and I saw her, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago at Queens of Combat here. And she got, on her first appearance, she got a "Please Come Back" chant. And just since then, and John, you can talk, you've seen her more than we have, but she's just grown so much. And I was really glad to see her get an opportunity last night.
Yes, it was very good to see. I'm always happy when I see, especially independent talent that I've seen a lot of and know quite well, appearing on television. That's a fantastic, always a fantastic feeling for me. And the Afro-Punk Trish Adora definitely is one of these ones I've seen. She's been a staple here in the Northeast for quite a long time.
And John, if I'm not wrong, on ROH too, she was on this week. What, didn't she fight Diamante?
Yes, she did. No, that was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, she fought.
Okay, yeah. So she's been on. She's been on.
She's finally seen some of her hard work come to fruition. We're starting to see her more on television and on bigger programming and promotions. And if you're not familiar with her, please, folks, get familiar with her. You're going to be seeing a lot of her. She is extremely talented. Just a big, strong, physical woman, and a presence in the ring, and gave Taya,
she ain't laying down.
No.
She ain't giving she's giving no ground to nobody.
Yeah, no, and
beat her.
Yeah, so real quick, like I'm been super critical of the women's division, at least from the way that they've been presented on AEW. I feel like, okay, so two things. This week was no different. It was an 8-minute segment, 9:25. They're like 9:23. The women come out. There's the entrance. There's a minute of wrestling. They go to picture in picture for 3 minutes. Actually, for a minute. Then they cut to commercial. They go to full commercial. Come back a couple more minutes, and then after 8 minutes, it's all done. It ends with an interference. They end with interference every week. It's the same friggin' thing.
Yeah,
however,
John, keep me true on this. Keep me true on this. Is ROH doing a way different job than AEW? And
yes,
it seems to me that you get in 2 hours you get a ton of
you get
matches
on
just
on Ring of Honor. You're getting more women's matches in general, and I even don't like to say this, but I believe it to be 100% true. You have better stories, especially from the women's division, going on right now in Ring of Honor than on Rampage or Dynamite.
Yeah, and it definitely feels that way too. I'm frustrated, but I do want to give a lot of positive to the match itself, because Tony Storm and Sky Blue had a very good match. Like, these two are excellent performers. Yeah. If they had gone 20 minutes, that could have main evented anywhere. It was Both are excellent. I just
Mhm.
wish that the storyline was more engaging. I wish that they were giving that they were putting the AEW women in better positions to succeed, because they certainly have the talent. And I say that every week. I'm hoping that Collision's different.
It to me, it just seems like whatever they do on Dynamite on Wednesdays is really nothing more than to set up something either for Rampage on Friday night, or now that carried over now to Collision coming up tonight, because now you have a match, because at the end of the Sky Blue Tony Storm match, you had interference from Ruby Soho, of course, and in comes to save our favorite, and definitely mine, Willow, came in to save Sky Blue. So now you have a tag team match set up tonight, Tony Storm and Ruby Soho versus Willow and Sky Blue.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with them using Dynamite to set up a match for the debut of a new show. Like, that makes sense to me. But you shouldn't have your flagship show setting up matches for your Friday night show that has.
It should be the other way around.
Yeah, it should be the other way around. No, this is different. This is the debut of a new show. I totally get it. So let's see what happens going forward. But I do genuinely wish that the women in AEW get better opportunities, besides just putting the same people in the same matches week after week.
It's 2 more hours of programming every week. Let's hope so.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, they did take away Dark and Elevation, but those are pretty much just opportunities for people to get reps, which is fine, but like, it is what it is. This is actually a cable show. So I'm excited for tonight. I think Collision is going to be interesting. They did a good job feeding into it. And like David said, it was one of the better, go home shows.
Right. But what were they going home to?
Well, I mean, it's to the debut of a new show, which isn't necessarily a pay-per-view, but it is a launch of a new product.
I will say they did a hell of a job. Not that it needed much sale. They did a hell of a job selling Forbidden Door that's coming up in 2 weeks. So yeah, especially with the way the ending of that show went and all the people that we saw, it's that's like I said, it seemed odd that it was a week early or 2 weeks early, but still, it made me excited for Forbidden Door.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the matches they have advertised for Forbidden Door already are like dream matches. I'm excited, and I haven't been buying all of the AEW pay-per-views over the last year or so, because not all of them have the same appeal that they did in the first year. This one I'm definitely going to watch because of the New Japan crossover, because of the interesting the promos, like the Bryan Danielson promo from last week or a week and a half ago, like the way that they're building that story, which wasn't really a story until all of a sudden it was, but yet they're using and we talk about this all the time, they're using their social media, they're using all the tools available to them to tell a story that's getting everybody invested, and then they double down on it by giving us highlights on their main shows. I think it's being done really, really well. It'd probably be a great pay-per-view.
Yes. Just if you look at the matches they've already announced, it's definitely almost at this point a can't miss, just for the simple fact that you have Bryan Danielson and Okada.
Right.
Yeah, that's a main event anywhere in the world. So just on that alone, plus Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega for the New Japan United States Championship. Again, that's a main event anywhere in the world. So just on those 2 matches alone, this is and I'll admit I was skeptical on for the whole Forbidden Door concept in the beginning, just because I wanted to be open-minded about it, but I said, well, part of this is just basically going to be an AEW squash at New Japan's expense. But to both of their credit, Tony Khan and New Japan's credit, they have done a wonderful job of making stories out of past events and past matches and stuff, but also not having to use AEW programming to get the matches or build them. They kind of build themselves, and I think that's a credit to them, putting together fantastic matches and matchups that make it that much better to watch.
Yeah, well, I think an interesting point too is that we know Mike Mansouri left WWE last year and joined AEW earlier this year, and he was the guy that was primarily responsible for the production of a lot of the NXT pay-per-views, the vignettes, a lot of the production quality, the stuff that we liked about the black and gold era of NXT. Mike Mansouri had his hands, in a lot of the creative part of that, and so he's been driving. From what I read, is that he's been driving a lot of that stuff in AEW, and I've noticed the flow of the shows changed. I've noticed that they're spending more time, as you said, storytelling rather than just giving us 2 hours of fast-paced matches. Although this week's Dynamite did end with a cluster F that made no sense, with everybody piling into the ring, big star power, but still like, oh my god, my head hurt.
Right. Yes. Yes. And actually, I really like the ending of it. Just because they of course you understand that most of the people involved in that are going to be appearing at Forbidden Door, but it was kind of cool to see them kind of jumpstart that this early, instead of wait until the night of the pay-per-view or the week before. So it was chaotic and none of it really made sense. But hey, you saw almost all the names on the matches for the card, and why not? And we had Eddie Kingston come back. What better? Eddie Kingston healed up, out of catering, ate all the cake. Here he is, Mad King, back.
Well, he was in Ring of Honor.
I thought he was too, but who knows now? With him, he does what he wants. So he might wind up back in catering. Who knows? We may see him. King. Yep. He is. We may see him on Collision. With
and
him,
you never Lois.
Know. Yes.
Yeah.
Lois
Hell, he was. Oh, that's a great shirt. Shout out to Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, and just real quick, I know we talk about it.
I thought it was Schivone.
Schivone.
Yeah, Schivone, right. Or Shavato, if you listen to the late great Jimmy Boogie Man Valiant. Other real thing, real quick, just on the week that was wrestling before we move on. I don't know how I can express this any more than I have or we have. Folks, if you're not watching Impact Wrestling, my God, you are wrong. You are so wrong. I can't describe how wrong you are. When you look at everything that we complain about with WWE, AEW in general, Impact gets right. You have compelling stories. You have ongoing stories. You have the Knockouts division prominently featured. All of their champions, all of their titles, all the chases for their championships make sense. They just had one of their quote unquote minor pay-per-views that had two very big things happen. One was Chris Sabin becoming the nine-time X Division champion. And after 20 years and two previous unsuccessful attempts, the other part of the Motor City Machine Guns, that his name absolutely escapes me right now, became the Impact World Champion, beating Steve Maclin. And there's so many good stories going on. If you're not checking out what Dirty Dango's doing on there, you are so wrong. And just please, people, it's not that hard. For $1 a month, you can watch it.
Alex Shelley.
Yeah, Alex Shelley.
Yeah.
$1 a month. You sign up through their YouTube. It starts a half hour after the access feed if you don't have access, and that's exactly how I watch it on YouTube at 8:30 every Thursday night. And it is absolutely entertaining, compelling. You want to tune in the following week. 2 hours of wrestling television.
Axl Rose said it's so easy. It's so easy.
It is. And it's I know, yes, it's not regular cable TV that we're used to seeing from AEW and WWE, but it's really so good. And if you're missing out and not watching it, you're really missing out. So I just wanted to throw that in there real quick.
It's got everything. It's got the comedy aspect. It's got the strong style. It's got the monsters like PCO, and you know, it got everything. Just everything. And you know, the announcers are freaking great, man.
Yes.
How can you not like Tom Hansen? You know, I mean,
I have to. This is true for me as well. It's not about the money; it's about the time. It is hard to make time for more wrestling. There's so much stuff on right now.
Absolutely, yes.
And we all watch different things. You know what I mean? Like there's people in our group that catch up are more caught up with New Japan. You know, so they're right up to it. You know, and then there's other people here with the ROH and people with their independence and whatnot. So it is a busy time, you know.
Yeah, shout out to Steve in chat. Pay for Impact Plus the catalog holds up. You do have access to a ton of stuff on there.
That's the same with Honor Club and Watch ROH. You know, the entire Ring of Honor catalog is on there, the past library, and that more than holds up. Yeah. But
you can go to Okada. You can go to Okada Omega. You can go to the Okada Omega match that Bully and Dave always talk about.
Right. That was the Genesis. Yeah. But overall, what a wonderful problem to have. God, there's too much wrestling. What do I watch?
Well, there's too much good wrestling. Historically, there's been plenty of bad stuff, but now there's like a ton of companies giving us really interesting, really different products, which is awesome. Like if you don't like this, there's this. If you're a fan of women's wrestling, there's this. If you're a fan of death matches or strong style or comedic wrestling, there's something for everybody. But I think I want to land on this because I read an interview. I want to talk a little bit about the closing of SmackDown, and it's been the same over the last few weeks. I know that we talk about the bloodline every week, but it's the most interesting, most compelling thing in all of wrestling for the last like 20 years. I read an interview with Paul Heyman when we were at the airport the other day. I was reading. He was talking about the cinematic approach to the storytelling that they're doing, not only from a backstage perspective, but an in-ring perspective. He talked about how having a character like Roman Reigns, a strong, dominant, like just a nasty heel, like this character is a bad guy, but yet he's layered enough, and Roman Reigns is so good in what performance he brings, that he's able to laugh and cry and bring all these emotions to the table. And Paul Heyman talked about how this is setting the new standard for professional wrestling. Like if you're not looking at giving the audience more complex stories and better matches and just leveling up on all these fronts, then you're going to be left behind. And he seems to know a thing or two about this stuff. So
that's just...
But I still want to go back.
Yeah, I still want to go back to the John Cena interview where he said that Roman Reigns did something different. When John Cena brought someone, it's one person. When John Cena put whoever over Mark Henry, it's the anniversary. He put Mark Henry over. He didn't put over the Nation of Domination. He put over Mark Henry. He didn't put over Roman Reigns is putting everybody over that's around him. Anybody that touches a match that has anything to do with the bloodline is over. Right.
Mark and Bully have commented on it. In particular, I'm Busted Open, that and Mark used the best analogy I've heard for it. Roman has his own gravitational pull. Roman is his own solar system with this. Anybody that gets pulled into that orbit around him in this bloodline story, they have become either superstars or even bigger superstars than they were. And it's basically anyone who gets involved in it. Look at, not that they have fallen off any, but if you look at what Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were doing before they got involved with the Usos and the bloodline in general, and where they're at now, it's unbelievable, and that works for anybody that comes in contact with it.
John,
Anybody,
they could and connecting the dots. John, they connected the dot from Friday night. They connected the dot all the way back to when they were still in the freaking Thunderdome.
yes,
That's
with
how
main
far back
event
they
Jey
went
Uso.
to
main
connect
event,
the dot.
yeah. You know, and that's, you know, and I've said it that we sit and discuss on Zoom and stuff and talk as we're watching. We are truly watching a master craft his master thesis. Paul Heyman, by and far, is absolutely the best to ever do it. And I say ever do it from a on-screen managerial standpoint, but the way the man has absolutely weaved and told every dip and turn and roller coaster ride that this story has been.
Also thank Vince McMahon for having a loose grip on this story instead of an iron.
Well,
grip,
I think
which is kind of cool.
We don't know.
You know what? It always goes through. Everything goes. You know, we talk about Paul Heyman, but you know what? Nothing goes on that camera that the man does not approve.
Yeah, and that's Triple H right now.
Right.
But,
that is. But the thing is, if it was say anybody else behind the story other than Paul Heyman, I don't think it would have lasted as long as it has and kept us interested and hanging on every part of it every week the way we have.
Yeah.
John, and probably would have more. Somebody else would have more control over it.
Yeah, and so here's the thing that's interesting to me. You know, if you go back a few years, go back 3-4 years, we would watch Monday Night Raw, and they would always start with this talking segment. And week after week, we'd complain about, oh, why don't they start with wrestling? Why are they giving us these boring talking segments? They're not beneficial to the show at all. Fast forward to today. Last night, SmackDown ended with a 15-minute talking segment. This is SmackDown on network television in front of 2.8 million people. And week over week, they've been doing this. And every week, SmackDown sees an 8 to 10% increase in viewership specifically for that closing segment, which is not wrestling.
Right. People will watch, you know, people will, it's almost to the point, and you can see it in the trends and the numbers. People, just like everybody used to say, the last hour of Raw back in the Attitude Era and all that, the last hour of Raw was the best time to tune in because that's when you started to see the payoff for whatever they had been building through the show, and then they would wrap it up at in that last hour. SmackDown has become the same thing. You come to expect, but you come to expect that the last half hour, 20 minutes.
I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry.
I know, Steve. I knew that was.
Vince was
I heard you pop the same time I popped, and I knew you made the same freaking comment.
He got me.
Steve, that should stay up for the rest of the show.
Yeah, just leave that. That's it. Shut the rest of the comments off. We are done.
Sorry, everyone else
Bravo,
in the chat.
Steve. Bravo, Steve. Yes.
All right. Well, we need the room on the screen.
I'll finish real quick. You know, that last segment of SmackDown now is the watch segment, period. And again, we're not tuning in because, oh God, the rest of the show is awful and we only just want to see what happens in the last 15 minutes. No, because the shows themselves throughout are great, but you have that expectation now that there's going to be something, and last night was no different. There's going to be something that happens in that last segment that you have to see. And I mean, last night they dropped a pretty big bombshell. So
it leaves you wanting more too.
Yes.
Well, that's a big part of it. So like we were on vacation 2 weeks ago. We were gone for a week. And then we came back for a few days, and then we went to Texas for Mission Pro for the pay-per-view. So I missed a lot of stuff during that time, which is fine. You can't catch up with everything. But I made sure to fast forward through SmackDown and catch all of the talking segments, all of the Bloodline segments, because I don't want to miss a chapter of this story. That's something you can't miss, because if you miss a week, there's 4 or 5 different pieces to the puzzle that you're missing.
Thank God you got a group like us back here, a bunch of losers back here, not missing a thing. And you can just, hey, what happened? What happened here? You know?
Yeah. I get a crash course. Yeah. But some of it you have to watch.
Yeah, we would have
So-
told you whatever you missed important.
But
And
these
you've
closing
only-
segments, and Sam's right. So the facial expressions, the acting. So John,
Mm-hmm.
to your point, there's lots of people that can write and direct great cinema. But if
Mm-hmm.
you don't have the actors to perform it, then what you don't have anything. And the people that are involved in this storyline are doing some unbelievable work. Solo, who is doing very little but getting so much done at the same time.
Mhm.
The Usos, the performance from last night was, I mean, it's like Emmy quality stuff. Like the story that they told start to
Main
finish
event.
in that segment.
Yeah.
It was, and they're just, every time I think that they've peaked or like, okay, I'm kind of getting done
Yeah.
with this, something else happens. You're like, I'm still here. They got me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's going to,
again, now we have a whole completely brand new wrinkle of it after last night. And
yeah.
and-
And so did
3
I
years
see
ago-
this? Was this
3
made
years
official?
ago, somebody said Jay is going to be a main event. Like, you know what I mean? Or one of the Usos is going to be No, they're a tag team. You know, we know how the tag teams are.
right. But
Yeah,
now
it's-
So many things have happened that
Mhm.
really.
Yeah. It's a strong tag division, you know, but someone could keep me honest in the chat. I thought I saw earlier today that on that Smackdown Lowdown show or whatever it's called, they announced Roman and Solo versus the Usos at SummerSlam. Was that not SummerSlam? Money in the Bank. Is that? I believe I saw that.
Hmm.
So go double check that. But I think I saw that was announced
Okay.
on there. Not you personally, but if you who watching at home, go check it on your own time.
Google it.
Yeah.
Google it.
Google
Yeah.
it.
We have
Oh,
people
RA saying that. RA just said that.
Roman and Solo versus. Yep. Okay. So thanks. All
Okay.
right. Yeah, I did see that. That was
Okay.
made official. Cool. So that's going to be really cool. And Money in the Bank, obviously, as a pay per view, is shaping up to be really cool. We'll talk
Right.
more about that next week, and we'll talk more about Forbidden Door next week as well.
Mhm.
We are going to end a few minutes early tonight because I want everybody to go get ready
That's
for
the
Collision.
player of the week, man, right there. That's the
Main
player.
event, Jay.
Main event, Jay.
That's it.
Mhm.
That's the man.
Yep.
And after tonight, that's what we want. We're gonna see that.
Thunder. Oh, sir.
No, new song. Hopefully,
Oh.
That'd be cool.
should be new
That'd be
show.
good.
I
Should be
do
new
kind of
song.
like her existing song, but new music's always cool.
I would just
Sometimes
like to
people-
hear it. That's all.
Yeah.
I would just like to hear it, whatever music it is.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause that
as
means
far
we're
as
seeing her on television.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It's I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm looking forward to tonight, and folks, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Thanks for joining us tonight, John. Where can people find you on the socials?
Oh, I have just a few quick things before I get to my socials.
Gotcha.
First and foremost, a big cheers to all the dads, you two as well. You know, it is our
Who's
day
your
tomorrow.
daddy?
It's in the words of Chris Rock. It's our day for the big piece of chicken, because that's what Dad gets. Dad always gets the big piece of chicken. So shout out to all the dads, granddads, fur dads. The greatest gift of my life, of the many things that I have done and accomplished, none greater than my 23-year-old daughter who lives in Florida, and hopefully will remember to call her father tomorrow on Father's Day.
I'm sure
But,
she will.
Other than that, like I said, shout out to all the dads. This is our day. By God, make them do something for you, even if it's something small or something you don't expect. It is your day. Enjoy it. Second, speaking of celebrations, I have a very special happy birthday wish to one of my favorite all-time wrestlers. Mr. Minoru Suzuki turns, I don't know, I think 540 years old today. Shout out to the Murder Grandpa on his birthday, the ageless wonder, the man who absolutely makes me smile anytime I see him in a wrestling ring or make an entrance or anything like that. One other quick note, since we were talking about independence and independent organizations, coming up July 15th at the world famous Monster Factory, Paulsboro, New Jersey, Capital Championship Wrestling. I know a few people there. They are presenting their second annual first round of the Capital Cup tag team tournament. Please, tickets are on sale right now. Come and join us in person for it, and also streaming live, and it's so cool to say that now, on Title Match Network. And lastly, you can find me, and I never do it right because I never can get my camera right, but down there somewhere, you can find me at Twisted Metal Fab on the Twitter.
There he is.
Yeah, on the Twitter, on the Instagram, and always, just like you've seen tonight, folks, we are out there. Hashtag Nation's Corner on location.
That's right. Quick shout out to Mission Pro Wrestling in the chat. R.A. Davis also suggests Thunderstruck. I would love to see them use Thunderstruck, but I've heard it's prohibitively expensive. But I don't care. It's not my money, so make it happen. Mike,
wait, we can get Elton John, but not AC/DC.
I just want to say Happy Father's Day, and I want to say where am I? The belt collector, the new belt collector here, Leo Sparrow, the son of the sun. He's just collected belts everywhere. He went shopping. He went shopping with Little Bully. Got us some meat. Got us some bratwurst cheese, bacon.
He's vegan.
Got us some tuna with extra mercury. And
okay.
It wasn't dolphin safe, so I might get a chunk of dolphin in this one.
Might be some flipper in there.
Love you, brother. Keep collecting those belts.
We're gonna get a cease and desist on this.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Dude, he is literally gonna hurl broccoli at you for like an hour straight.
Yeah, he's gonna. You know what? He's gonna hurl frozen freaking broccoli. I know it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not even like pieces, like the big whole heads. He's gonna have like.
But let's go Collision. Who's psyched, man? Let's go. Who cares? We don't know. We can only speculate, but we're excited because it's a new freaking show tonight. Let's go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's do it. All right. You can find me at PW Front Row and all the socials. You can find me on Thursday nights with my best host from the West Coast, Trenda Magellan, for Mission Pro Wrestling's Unmatched. Make sure to check us out for our sponsorship opportunities, missionprowrestling@gmail.com. Check out us, check out all our stuff on the socials because we have lots of content coming out. Man, a lot happened at the show, and a lot's going to happen between now and August 12th for Boiling Point. So we are going to see everybody next week. Hope you have a great weekend and enjoy your
watch
week.
some Collision.
Yeah, Collision, most definitely.
Happy